Hi and welcome to OnSide SA. We're in our new little studio at the moment while they do a transition downstairs. Budge and I have never been this close. And we're going to run through what was a great last one standing with Spurs decimating it. Then we're going to speak to the Fulham studio where we've got Stevie B, our international pundit, to run through games coming up. Budge, wow, what a collapse to only 151 after 2 weeks.
Yeah, Paul,
that's the biggest smash.
Paul, massive smash, Paul. I was watching the Tottenham game and the Tottenham Schlangerock drive with a couple of mates, and I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Me too,
Paul.
Couldn't believe it. It's not acceptable, and people don't believe me when I tell them, if we'd have won that game, we were third in the log on goal difference.
Yeah.
19 points, so it's a big drop. Now we're 10th or 11th, but anyway, that's the nature of the beast, you know. Man City aren't flying, Arsenal aren't flying, Spurs are playing Spursy football. But let's have a look at 2 and 3 because it's week 11 on the first one.
First competition, Paul.
And now it's head-to-head, Dean and Tracy. A man against a woman. We haven't had a woman win it. Montana went very close.
Yeah.
Montana Werners went very close. But Tracy, it's in your hands. But can you beat Dean Grove? They had Man United and Wolves, respectively.
Yeah.
So Wolves, do you want to talk about those?
That's your
sods?
team,
My
Paul. Yeah,
team.
they scored early and hung on. A couple of things went their way, but tactically lucky. That's the definition of this competition, Paul.
Yeah, you've got to be very, very lucky. And then, of course, Graham Hawkins.
Oh.
He went right there at the wire. He had wet spam. They should have won late.
Should have won. Pickford, unbelievable
save by Pickford from Ings, I think it was. So, unfortunately, Graham's joined me in the Champions League.
The Champions League, yeah.
And then the teams in week 2, I cannot believe these. I'm just going to read the teams that went out. Tottenham, 240. West Ham 11, Man City 7, Forest 4, Crystal Palace 3, Bournemouth 1, Chelsea 1. So, Budge, it could be a woman winning. It's a flip of the coin, basically.
50-50 now.
Tracy can win it.
Yeah, they've both got 7 identical picks, and they've got 2 separate. So it'll be interesting. I think it's going to go on a couple of more weeks, Paul, purely because I've had a look at the teams, looked at the fixtures going forward, and I think they may be on the same teams. But you never know, Paul, but they've both done great to get this far, so good luck to them.
Okay, I'm going to talk about performances of the week, Budge.
Paul only won again.
Brighton.
9-2. Done
Brighton.
it again.
And then the runner-ups, they had some picks too. Fulham, Roger Laveau, Craig Ferrie, and Mo Moore again. Mo must be really flying along.
Yeah, he's doing well, Paul.
And one last thing, our sponsors, Postnet. They have got Chris Wheeler, Mark Oliver, David Wheeler, Lance Whiteford, Matthew Durego, Anthony Pollock, Jakub Khan, Yvonne Borensa, and Julie Asher. Well done. They're all still in it. I don't know how, but well done.
Well, they entered. I don't know if they're still in it, Paul. You know, next week we'll go over all the ladies that entered. There were 50 of them. And obviously the internationals. You know, we're under pressure in the new studio. So.
Okay, so we'll go through the ladies that entered. Thanks very much. I'm sure it's going to be very close. Mr. Grove is going to try to keep that record intact. Right, we now have to get hold of Steve. Steve, are you in the studio?
I am. Good morning. I made the cardinal sin of backing Tottenham again, so I jinxed it for you. Sorry, Paul.
Yeah. Not to worry. Listen, we're to another 239 with you.
Yeah. Steve, Nations League, I know it's not the greatest a week, especially on the punting side, but a couple of games tonight. Greece, England.
Well, I mean, Greece played very well in the first game and deserved to win. They were cutting England apart. What is a concern is that so many England players have pulled out with some with injuries that we know and others we don't know why they've pulled out. And Harry Kane, I think you mentioned it before, Budge, has had a real go at not specific players, but players in general. He's saying that playing for England is something that you should be proud of and should put ahead of playing for your club. But I don't think the clubs are thinking that, and I'm sure they put pressure on 1 or 2 players if they've got a bit of a twinge to sort of say, no, come back and, you know, we want you available for our League and Champions League games or whatever coming up. Yeah. So,
Who will win?
Who you got, Steve? England get another one. Can Greece upset them again?
I think they can. I mean, it would be typical England to go there with a slightly weakened squad and get a result. But even if they win by a goal, it might not be enough because Greece has got a slightly better goal difference. So it could come down to who beats England. England would have to beat Republic maybe by more than Greece winning Finland. So look, they've made it hard for themselves. If you finish runner up, then you go into sort of playoffs. But England haven't really played particularly well in these games. They played well in the first half against the Republic of Ireland, but otherwise it's not been particularly spectacular. And again, it's obviously these are the last two games under Lee Carsley before Thomas Tuchel takes over properly.
All right. Steve, to me, England good things. They'll play Harry Kane down the middle, Bellingham behind. They'll play Gordon and whoever. England will cruise in. That's my opinion. The Greeks will be cocky. England will come through, play the players that want to play, not these guys playing out of position, Foden, Trent Alexander and them. England will cruise. Anyway, on to Friday. We're going to get the betting up now. And the first game up, Steve, Cyprus against Lithuania. How do you see it going?
Yeah, I mean, look, these are two of the lower ranked teams. Cyprus historically haven't been bad at home. And maybe this might be a game they can win. I don't think there's going to be that much between them, but Cyprus at home probably start as favourites.
Yeah, to me, it's got goals written all over it. Two poor teams. I've watched Cyprus, not the best, but neither Lithuania. Even money both teams to score is my suggestion. A game I'm looking forward to: Denmark-Spain. I watched the last game. Spain tactically outclassed Denmark, but the Danes always hang in. Now they're at home, and Spain are missing a few players. Is this an upset?
Yeah, I think potentially it could be. Again, we don't know until nearer the time who's going to be, in each team. But I think, Denmark, as you say, I mean, they haven't had the best of campaigns losing in Spain. I think they'd want to try and get a little bit more sort of pride back. I think that if there was to be a winner, I'd probably go with Denmark, but I think it's going to be quite close.
Yeah, I think there could be an upset. Portugal, Poland. Steve, Lewandowski's not playing for Poland. Surely Portugal good things?
Yeah, it'd be hard to see anything other than a Portugal win. I mean, they've got a strong squad, and even if they rotate a little bit, I think they'd be too strong for Poland.
Yeah. Can Scotland upset Croatia?
I think at home they can do. They're missing one or two themselves. I think that they've had a really poor run, Scotland. If they show some of the fight that they have done in the last couple of years then they can. But I think it's going to be, again, it's one of those that I think they'd have to be pretty much at their best to beat them, though.
Yeah, let's don't trust Croatia. The bet is Scotland win or draw, and both teams to score at 18-10. That's my suggestion. Switzerland, Serbia. Swiss have been disappointing, Steve, but at home, can they end on a winning note?
I think they can do. Again, as you say, they have been disappointing, but they're not a bad side. I mean, they're one of those sort of clubs, countries that sort of go under the radar a little bit, and then all of a sudden, you find them in the knockout stages. Serbia are a bit hit and miss. Away at home they're quite strong. I would say if there was to be a winner, probably plump with Switzerland, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a draw.
Yeah, I think there'll be goals that Kanji's missing for the Swiss. On to our second page, and we've got Luxembourg, Bulgaria. Steve, two teams that have been struggling in League C.
Who spelled Bulgaria?
Yeah.
Luxembourg have been struggling, but again, in the last couple of years, they've been a lot stronger than they are historically. Bulgaria surprised me. I thought they would do better this time round. For me, I think if there was to be a winner, I'd probably go with Bulgaria. But as you say, two struggling teams could end up with a low-score draw.
Yeah, 22-10 looks the right play. Northern Ireland, who seem to have had a bit of a resurgence. I know I backed them to win in Belarus. They drew 0-0. I think they'll destroy Belarus at home. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think they should win at home. Again, they've got a few players pulled out, but they played with passion, and I think at home they want to put on a bit of a show. So I'll go with a home win.
Yeah, Romania, my strong fancy for the weekend. They won 4 group games, Steve. They even won 3-0 away from home. 8-10, I think, is a great price. Do you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I think they're definitely one of the firm favourites going into the weekend, and I'd be very surprised if they don't win comfortably.
All right, on to Saturday, and a game that I think is going to be nice and fiery. Georgia against the Ukraine.
Yes, yeah, I think it will be. Georgia, again, are one of those, surprised everybody how well they did in the Euros. Ukraine, obviously, like every one of their matches is away from home.
Yeah.
So, you're not quite sure who you're going to get and how strong their side's going to be this time round. I think Georgia might just start as favourites, though.
Yeah, I looked at Georgia to win and draw. I think there'll be goals because both teams got to go for it. But of the two teams, I think Georgia, even though bookings looks the right way to go. Also, Montenegro, Iceland, Steve, two struggling outfits.
Yeah, I mean, Montenegro at home are not the worst side. Iceland have been pretty disappointing. I mean, in the past they've given a good account of themselves, and they don't travel very well. So I would go with Montenegro, a draw possibly, but otherwise a home win for Montenegro.
Yeah, I sided with both teams to score at 9-10. On to our final page of the Nations League, and the first game up's a big game: Turkey versus Wales. Wow. How do you see it going?
Yeah, it is a big game. Wales have done well, but Turkey at home you'd think would be too strong. They've got players who are being coveted all over Europe. I think this one could be a trip too far for Wales. I fancy Turkey.
Yeah, I've got to agree. How many goals will the Germans put past Bosnia-Herzegovina?
Yeah, I think they'll put a hatful. You can't see anything other than a comfortable sort of 3 or 4-0 win here.
Yeah, well, 3-0. Germans to score 3 goals is 7-10, and to score 4 is 22-10. I sided with 3 goals, but if you fancy another one, take the 22-10. Netherlands, Hungary. You never know what to get from Hungary. They were disappointing in the Euros. Netherlands always seem to win the second half, Steve. Don't know what's Koeman's tactics. That's my suggestion. I think they were 12-10. But surely the Netherlands have got to beat the Hungarians?
Yeah, you would think so. I mean, look, they're both away from the leader in the group, but I expect the Netherlands to come through and win that.
Yeah, Albania, the Czech Republic, how do you see that going?
Yeah, this should be a reasonable game. I mean, Albania, again, not the worst side. Czechs are having a good competition. I think they're quite capable of holding Albania. Whether they'll win there, I don't know. I fancy a draw in that one.
Yeah, I've got to agree. And last but not least, Steve, a team has got some superb striking options. Sweden against Slovakia. The Swedes good things?
Yeah, I mean, look, they've performed in recent years, but they have some decent players. Whether they're all available, but yeah. I would say at home they should be too strong.
And if Spurs' Kulusevski can get his shooting boots on, 7-10 doesn't look a bad price. Steve, on to League One. Obviously, because of international commitments, there are several games that have been postponed. But one of them that hasn't been is Saturday lunchtime, Exeter City against Lincoln. How do you see it going?
Yeah, it should be a reasonable game. Exeter are quite strong at home. I think, for me, I think they probably just start as favourites.
Yeah, tough to call that one. Blackpool under Steve Bruce, too good for Northampton Town?
Yeah, I mean, Northampton, though, had a really good result the other day, drawing at Birmingham. Yeah. But, I think Blackpool, at home, I think should be too strong. So I think it'll be close. Probably be the odd goal in 3 or something. Yeah,
I've got to agree, and there'll be goals. Bristol Rovers 11-10 against a struggling Crawley Town, Steve.
Yeah, I like that. I think Bristol Rovers should be too strong for them. I think that's a reasonable price.
Yeah, I saw Crawley away from home, 3 goals in the last 6, so you've got to fancy the home team. And the team that I fancy in League One this weekend are Barnsley. Surely they've got to be too good for Cambridge?
Yeah, you would think so. Cambridge are not having a particularly good run. Barnsley a little bit hit and miss, but overall they are the stronger side. And I would think if there was to be a winner there, it'd definitely go with the away side.
2 informed teams, Steve. Stockport County versus Wrexham. How do you see it going?
Yeah, I mean, this will be a really good game. I mean, obviously, a lot of eyes are on Wrexham because of the Hollywood connection. But Stockport at home have been strong. And they had a big win, really big win last week against sort of local rivals Bolton. I think, I think the one thing that is certain, there should be goals here. Yeah. I fancy the home side, but I think there's definitely going to be goals.
Yeah, I've got to agree. Over 2.5, both teams to score was 11-10, so that would be my suggestion. Steve, pressure time again. I need your best bet and value bet, please.
Okay, I think I'm going to go for Bristol Rovers as my best bet.
I thought you would, yeah. And your value bet?
Yeah, it's a tricky one, actually. I think I might go for Exeter. I just got a feeling that I think that's not a bad price for them. I think I'll go for Exeter City.
All right, Steve. Thanks again, and we'll obviously talk during the England game tonight. Keep well and enjoy your weekend of premierships.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully now after this week there's no more international breaks till March, so we get a clear run.
Yeah,
excellent. Thanks, Steve. Thanks very much.
Cheers. Bye. Bye.
Right, let's go on, Budge, and have a look at the AFCON group fixtures. You can give me your opinions.
Yeah, Paul, a big game for our boys.
What do you
Friday.
think?
Paul, we've done well. I think there'll be goals. You know, Uganda need a point to qualify. If we avoid defeat too is okay because we played South Sudan, who are the weakest team at home. So I think there'll be goals, Paul. Pressure's off. But
can we get a draw?
Yeah, well, we drew 2-2 at home. We scored injury time to equalise, but I think this has got 1-1 written all over it. So I took 15-10 both teams to score, Paul. I think it was a big price.
Gee, it is a big price.
Yeah, the Cape Verde did great in the AFCON. We've only beat them on penalties, but they've been woeful. If they get beat here, they can't qualify. Egypt have won all 4 of their games, but Mo Salah is not playing. So you just never know, and their last game is at home, so maybe they'll rest all their senior players. But for me, it's Cape Verde in the draw, purely because Egypt have nothing to play for. Eswatini at home against Guinea-Bissau. Guinea-Bissau have to get a result here, otherwise they can't qualify. Eswatini, or Swaziland as we know them, they've been woeful. They've lost both their home games. Would you take 8-10 away from home? Paul, a bit dodgy, but of the 2 teams, you've got to fancy Guinea-Bissau.
You have to fancy
the next team is Mozambique. They can't afford to lose. They've gone well. They've won 2 and drawn 2 of their 2 group qualifiers. Mali
Sewell, how are they doing?
Well, they need a point to qualify, Paul, so the draw does look the right option. Mali, a lot of decent players, always competitive, but Mozambique in the draw just purely because of the desperation. Zambia, Ivory Coast, Paul, they need a draw to qualify Zambia. Ivory Coast have already qualified. So the 21-10 the draw, Paul, that looks a bit of a gift, especially if Zambia are going to park the bus and Ivory Coast will more than likely play youngsters.
They're all Friday games, I see.
Yeah. On to Fridays. You know, Zimbabwe, if they draw, they qualify, Paul. Kenya have been really woeful. They've got to get a result.
Why are they struggling so much, Budge?
Paul, you just never know where their players. Thomas Partey's hardly been playing. He's been injured. If you don't win away from home, at home, Paul, you got a serious problem. Zimbabwe have done great. So another game, I think, will be draw in Zimbabwe. Angola, believe it or not, have already qualified, Paul. They've won all 4 group games. And if Ghana, massive club, the Black Stars, if they don't get a result, they're gone. So maybe on that assumption you'd side with Ghana, but winning away from home in Africa, Paul, is not easy. Gabon, another team who need to win to qualify. Morocco, quality team. They won all 4 group games. Likewise, they'll more than likely play youngsters, Paul. So another game which is hard to assess. I don't see Morocco losing, but the draw naturally looks a player. Now, the next game is crucial because the bottom 2 games are in the same group. Tanzania have to win. If they don't win, Guinea are almost certain to qualify, Paul. But Guinea have got a good team. I think Tanzania can beat Ethiopia. Ethiopia are woeful. And if they do it, it forces Guinea to get a result. Congo have already qualified. They've won 4. But to me, Paul, that's my lurker of the weekend. Guinea to beat DRC on Saturday, 16-10.
Right, well, Budge, that's it. Now we get down to that part of the show where you tell us your fancies and
Paul,
your bets,
Saturday
your best bets.
soccer exotics for the weekend. I'm going Lincoln to avoid defeat at Exeter City. I'm banking Blackpool to beat Northampton Town and Bristol Rovers to beat Crawley Town. I'm going the field in the Crew Alexander Notts County clash, siding with Grimsby Town to avoid defeat at Newport County, and going the field in the Stockport County Wrexham game 2-1-6. On to our second soccer 6 for the weekend. I'm going Ethiopia to avoid defeat at home against Tanzania. Moldova win and draw in Andorra. Going with Georgia to avoid defeat at home against the Ukraine. And Montenegro win and draw at home against Iceland. Have to chance someone, so I'm going for the Turks to beat Wales at home. And Guinea win and draw against Congo DR 192. On to the soccer 10, I'm going Georgia win and draw at home against the Ukraine. The field in the Montenegro versus Iceland fixture. Turkey win and draw at home against Wales. Albania, the field against the Czech Republic. The Germans should outclass Bosnia-Herzegovina. Onto the second page, I'm banking the Netherlands to beat Hungary, Sweden to avoid defeat at home against Slovakia, Sporting Gijon win and draw at home against Granada in the Spanish Segunda Division, and ending off with two bankers, Bermuda to beat Antigua and Barbuda, and Atletico Paranaense to beat Atletico Mineiro 288. On to our Soccer 13 on Saturday.
Coach, before you run through these, I was having a look at some big payouts, eh?
Massive, Paul.
Massive payout. If you catch this, you're out of it.
Catch this, you're out of it, yeah. And let's hope we catch it on Saturday, Paul. I'm banking the Sweden to beat Slovakia, Netherlands to beat Hungary, the Czech Republic to avoid defeat in Albania, Georgia win and draw against Ukraine, Turkey to beat Wales, Montenegro win and draw against Iceland, going for Blackpool to win at home against Northampton Town. Onto the second page, banking Bristol Rovers to beat Crawley Town, Barnsley Town to win away from home against Cambridge United, Wrexham chancing them to avoid defeat at Stockport County, AFC Wimbledon win and draw at Barrow, Crewe Alexandra, the Railwaymen win and draw at home against Notts County, and Grimsby Town win and draw at Newport County 256. On to our budgies bets for the weekend. Starts off on Friday. I'm going Romania to beat Kosovo, Scotland to win or draw and both teams to score against Croatia, and both teams to score in the Cyprus-Lithuania, Luxembourg versus Bulgaria games, 4,500 to 200. On to Saturday at 21 to 10. I thought it was a great bet. Over 1.5 goals in each half. Germany, Bosnia. So there's going to be at least 2 goals in each half. Germany, Bosnia, Herzegovina. I'm siding with Georgia to win or draw and both teams to score in their match against the Ukraine, and both teams to score Albania, the Czech Republic, 2,800 to 200. Both our team goal sides, I'm going Germany to score over 2.5 goals, Northern Ireland, Romania and Scotland, chancing the Scots, all to score over 1.5 goals, 3,200 to 200. AFCON treble, I'm going both teams to score in the Uganda, South Africa and Zimbabwe Kenya fixtures, and Guinea to beat the DRC, 2,400 to 200. English League One quad, I'm going Barnsley to beat Cambridge United, Bristol Rovers to beat Crawley Town, and over 2.5 goals, both teams to score. And the Blackpool, Northampton and Stockport Wrexham games, 3,200 to 200. And our Collis King 6 or Nexa, I'm going Northern Ireland to beat Belarus, Portugal to beat Poland, Romania to beat Kosovo, Germany to beat Bosnia-Herzegovina, Barnsley to beat Cambridge United, and Bristol Rovers to beat Crawley Town, 3,000 to 200.
Yeah, it looks a good bet. Well, here we go, and that is what's happening this weekend. As you know, it's the international break, so we don't go again until next weekend. So the last one standing.
Yeah, Paul, next week, Paul. So I'll obviously send everybody their previous picks, but this week they've all got a break.
They've all got a break. And, well, let's watch international football. Let's watch Bafana, see what they can do on Friday night, see what England can do against Greece tonight. Stay on side.